When investigators recovered the unfired ammunition left at the crime scene, they found crude messages scratched into the brass. One casing read, "Hey fascist, catch." The target was 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA. Kirk had spent over a decade building a massive platform, often serving as the primary face of the pro-Trump youth movement on American college campuses. On September 10, 2025, Kirk was hosting an outdoor debate at Utah Valley University. It was a high-stakes stop on his American comeback tour. The forensic team found themselves looking at a paradox. The shooting required a level of professional discipline and marksmanship, but the artifacts left behind, the brass casings and the juvenile graffiti, carried the hallmark of a crude adolescent provocation. At 8:29 a.m., nearly 4 hours before the event began, security footage captured a gray Dodge Challenger pulling into a campus parking lot. The driver, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, had arrived. By 11:50 a.m., Robinson had changed into a dark t-shirt, cap, and sunglasses. He navigated the campus stairwells until he reached the roof of the Lucy Center, a building overlooking the amphitheater. In the gravel on that roof, police later found impressions consistent with a sniper in a prone position. They noted the specific marks left by the elbows, knees, and feet of someone who had waited for a clear line of sight. At 12:23 p.m., a single shot was fired from a distance of 142 yards. Robinson immediately dropped from the roof to the grass below and fled toward the northern edge of campus. In a nearby patch of woods, investigators recovered the weapon, a Mauser Model 98 bolt-action rifle. DNA consistent with Tyler Robinson's was found on the trigger, the towel, and the brass casings. To reach this moment, Robinson arrived hours early, selected a specific disguise, and maintained a stationary position on a roof until he had his shot. He then successfully stashed the weapon and exited the campus undetected. Robinson's history was rooted in Washington, Utah, a staunchly conservative town where his family were active members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and his father was a local business owner. But over the course of a year, his path diverged. He dropped out of Utah State University after just 1 semester and began detaching himself from social interactions. At work, he would physically walk away whenever the topic of politics was raised. This matrix separates impulsive, emotional violence from instrumental acts, strikes that are planned and goal-oriented. By tracking his preparation and the distance of the shot, Robinson's profile sits firmly in the high-planning instrumental quadrant. Robinson explained his reasoning in a text to his roommate, claiming he had enough of his hatred, and writing that, quote, "Some hate cannot be negotiated with." By the time Robinson reached that roof, his internal narrative had shifted. He wasn't just targeting a person, he was attempting to erase a symbol of what he called negotiable hatred. Before the shooting, Robinson left a note for his roommate underneath a keyboard. It read, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." The day after the shooting, Robinson's parents saw his image on the news and recognized his clothing. After a confrontation at their home, his father and a family friend persuaded him to turn himself in to the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Investigators also discovered Robinson's activity on Discord. Hours before his arrest, he messaged a group of online friends, admitting to the crime and saying, "It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." Robinson's physical execution was isolated and disciplined, yet he could not resist seeking validation from his digital peers. He meticulously hid the rifle in the woods, only to virtually broadcast his confession to dozens of people shortly after. In court, the defense has focused on the complexity of the DNA evidence. They point to lab results showing multiple contributors on several items, arguing that the forensic profile isn't as clear-cut as the state claims. They also cite a ballistics report from the ATF. While examiners could match a spent casing to Robinson's grandfather's rifle, they were unable to conclusively connect the bullet fragment recovered during the autopsy to that same weapon. Prosecutors argue these technical ambiguities are outweighed by the documentation. They have the surveillance video, the DNA on the trigger, the engraved shells, and the explicit confessions Robinson left behind in both digital and physical forms. Tyler Robinson represents a modern archetype of political violence, an individual who appeared socially detached in his local community while deeply immersed in a radicalizing digital echo chamber. The legacy of the UVU shooting remains a warning of how quickly rhetoric can transform into a lethal operation. When an individual identifies a target as non-negotiable hatred, the distance between an online post and a 140